Hey guys, welcome back. This video is for the Bloodbath victory conditions. You can see we've been using this for a while. Usually, Axis player, I just say here, that's what you gotta do, and then that's how we've been playing for the longest time. But I finally got the cards done, and what's taking so long is because I had to make a tournament card for it. The way we play is great, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't really set up for a tournament. So anyways, now it is. So we're good to go on there. So let's first get into why even mess with the victory condition. Well, what's wrong with them? Well, out of box, this is a two-part game. There is a Europe theme, and then there is a Pacific theme. And when you put the boards together, victory conditions change for allies, but they don't change for the Axis, and that's the first problem. First problem is, as you know, Pacific, you have to get so many victory cities out of so many and you win, and the same thing with Europe. On top of those victory cities, they like to give you a couple that are pretty unattainable, so it makes the ratio even smaller to get those victory cities. But that's not really the problem. The problem is the ally side. The ally side, if you're playing the Pacific, you just have to get Tokyo. And if you're playing the Europe side, you have to get Rome and Berlin. Well, you put the games together, and now allies all of a sudden have to get all three, while the Axis still only have to control one half of the game. And I don't know about you, but we had many games where Axis win, but they're totally losing the game. Okay, for example, Japan is gone, and there's no Japanese going over there. China is running around doing its thing, and Berlin or Germany just happened to go through Russia, and maybe they got Egypt and they got enough victory cities to win the game. However, if we were to keep playing, that would not be the case. So that was one thing. So we did a few other changes. To start off, we started by, okay, well, let's just say allies only have to get either Japan or Berlin, and that's it. And that's still kind of got, it's still, that's not what happened. I mean, allies didn't have to take Japan to win the game, or to win the war, right? Japan failed to win. And so that got me thinking a little bit, talked to the guys about it, and I was like, hey, why don't we just make up some new little bit of rules here. Let's try something new. Let's try, the allies don't have to win, okay? The Axis, they're the ones that created the war. The Axis need to win the war. And if they fail to win the war, allies auto-win, okay? And just like, in the war, I mean, America never took Japan, okay? Bombed it. Japan still did its thing, trying not to give up, and then finally, Japan, okay, we give up. We failed to win, okay, and that's how we do things here now, okay. Axis, if Axis fail to win, and then the allies win, okay. There's no tied games. There's no if, ands, or buts. Who won the game? And it's we all like it. We all like it a lot. So now let's get into some of the oddball stuff, okay? Because I just mentioned about not taking Japan. Well, if you remember on the card video, on Japan's card, it specifies right here on the bottom, in the event of allies capturing Tokyo, Axis must regain Tokyo by or on Japan's next turn. If Axis fail to retake Tokyo, the game is immediately ended with an allied victory. Okay, so if allies were to take this, even though they don't have to, if they were to take this, game's over. Here, we're done. Exact same thing with Berlin, okay? You take Berlin, you can't get it back, game's over, okay? Why are we going to keep playing? Okay, yes, Japan might be dominating. Well, they're not going to dominate forever because there's no more Europe, okay? So it'd be a matter of time, so there's no reason to keep playing. Same thing with America, okay? If Axis capture Washington, allies must regain Washington by or on America's next turn. If allies fail to retake Washington, the game is immediately ended with an Axis victory. Now these are, these have become the rarity, okay? Those, that's not really what happens anymore. There's no, this, if it happens, yes, it almost happened last game. So close thing, Japan had 2 more units left and Japan was almost gone, but allies won anyways, just because of the game round restrictions. And you're like, what game round restrictions? Yes, this is how we've been playing, as I mentioned. Okay, 12 and 8 is our happy number. What does that mean, 12 and 8? Well, that means we play 8 rounds. Axis have to get 12 points. Well, what's a point? So now I finally got the cards made, okay? So, let me see if we can get in here a little bit better. So here it is, our Axis victory scorecard. Okay, now if you look, let me put this down. Let me get my historicalboardgaming.com pin. Now, points are figured at the end of a game round. Now, sorry if the camera's shaking a little bit. I'm holding it because I do got to move it around in a few minutes. Okay, game rounds to be played. You decide how many game rounds you want to play. I don't know if you can see that. I better just hold it. 7 is the minimum. I mean, if you don't have time to play at least 7 rounds, you're not going to have a good game, so it's pointless. And there's no reason why this game should take longer than 10 rounds, because if you have 14 points, you dominated. I mean, there's no coming back from 14 points for the Allies, so there's really no reason to quit, keep playing. Now, first ones you're going to notice are the green. Okay, that's what Axis begin the game with. The next 3 are in the yellowish, orangish color, mustardy. And those are the ones you should get with absolutely no problem. So by turn, if you're a J1 person, by turn 1, or even by turn 2, you're going to have 8 of 12, okay? And you can see to the right in red are 8 more victory cities. The victory cities that are lame to get, for example, Ottawa and San Francisco, you'll see, are not on this card, just because I don't want to bombard you with possible points that you cannot get. Okay, these are all obtainable. And I lost my train of thought, so we'll just move on to the next part. Let's go to, okay, so you have 8 more victory cities. In addition to, you have also objectives, okay? Now what this does is break the game up a little bit, okay? This is a good strategy game, but there's only one strategy, okay? That's okay. You have to get so many victory cities as the Axis. Well, there's more to it than just getting a victory city, okay? There's oil, there's islands, there's this and that and the other thing, okay? So don't want to keep playing the same game, okay? I mean, how many times have you played the same game and the only thing that changed were the dice rolls, okay? Because why? Because Axis have to do the exact same thing they did the last game to win, because that's the only way to win. So you don't really have to get victory cities anymore. I mean, you do to a point. It's a combination of both, but this really changes. The Axis is where they have to go or can go. I mean, allies can't really just look at the map and be like, oh, well, that's the only victory city you need now, so we're just going to go over there. It doesn't work that way. Well, if that victory city becomes no longer unobtainable, well, then you go do something else. Okay, and remember, this might look a little easy, but it is not. Okay, remember, UK is a full income UK. UK and Russia have no problems defending the Europe side of the board, while America can pretty much go full in the Pacific, and Pacific, UK, ANZAC, and America kind of have, and China probably have a pretty good handle on the Pacific. Okay, so don't think this is a walk in the park, because it is not. Actually, our last 2 games we played, allies have won. And the game we just played last Saturday, we got to activate Rome again for allies, so that was always fun. And that's another thing to watch out for. I mean, allies sneak in there and sack Rome, well, Rome becomes an ally player. So while you basically start the game with 8 and you have a lot of game time to get 4 more, it's not that easy. And these points, you don't keep them, okay? You have to have all these, you have to have the 12 for, activated. If you're playing eight rounds, it is. You would have 12 activated at the end of the game round. Okay, it's easy for the last minute, you know, especially after Germany does their turn. You know, if you left Warsaw open a little bit, you know, not enough people there, Russia can go in there and take it. Well, guess what? You just lost that one, and now you probably made this. This game is gonna have to go probably another game round, if it's available. If that was round 8, you probably just lost the game. Okay, so just gotta watch out for that kind of stuff. So let's go over here. So the first one on the card, in addition to victory cities, is Europe oil. Okay, so Europe oil is, so you must control Iraq, Persia, and Northwest Persia. Okay, that would be considered a point at the end of a round. Okay, then you have Pacific oil, which is Sumatra, Java, Celebes. You notice on our map they are all 4. Okay. So there's no like, oh, I don't want to get Celebes now because it's $1 less than all the rest of them. But they're all 4, okay? So just grab the one you want. Don't want you to make strategic decisions over one IPC value difference. Okay, you need to think. You know, same thing with coming over here, coming over there. It's just like, look, this one is actually a better location than these, but it was always worth less. So just made them all 4. Okay, get the good one. Now, where are we at here? Atlantic Wall. Okay, if the Axis get the Atlantic Wall going, and they do that by maintaining, let's see here, by maintaining 4 ground units on Normandy, Holland, Denmark, and Norway. Okay, now even if you use just infantry, that's pretty expensive. That's going to be 48 IPCs you have to negate to hold your border. You know, you really, honestly, how easy that one sounds, you do not see that one a lot, because 48 IPCs is a lot of assets to just have on hold, you know, protecting a border. But it's on there. Mediterranean, no allied territories in sea zones 95 through 99. So, for example, so to start up the game off, Malta and Cyprus are the allied territories. Okay, if allies were to take Crete, well, that's another one. If allies were to take, and that's it, that makes these island hopping. I mean, you're right here, allies are right here, but maybe they saw enough to take Rome. Okay, and maybe their ships are in here. You just land here, take one of those islands. Now, Italy, excuse me, if they want to try and get this point, not only do they have to get rid of your ships, now they got to island hop. They got to waste time getting a transport to come over here and take one of their islands back. Okay, I mean, this one sounds easy too, but you let the allies in there. I mean, they just snag something. It's not as easy as it sounds. Okay, resources, Ukraine, Urals, and Siberia. Okay, this is actually a national objective for Russia, maintaining the resources. Okay, that was one of the things Europe Axis wanted, were those resources. Okay, was Ukraine coal, Urals grain, and Siberian timber. Let's go to next one. South Asia. South Asia is control Burma, Shan State, Siam, French Indochina, and Malaya. Okay, that is, we'll consider a point. Okay, if you get, obviously you have Calcutta, well, there's 2 points right there. Just, you know, you taking this and maintaining this, 2 points. China, all Chinese territories. This is actually also a bonus of 10 IPCs for Japan if they maintain all these. This includes Manchuria. This includes all the ones they start with. You notice I don't have glowing borders or anything like that. Why? Because I don't want any confusion on what Chinese territories are. These, you know, I don't have any glowing borders anywhere. Why? Because, well, aside from initial setup, these borders change all the time. So why would I want to have this one color when this ends up being China a lot? Okay, so remember, Manchuria is a bonus for Russia now, 10 IPC. Okay, so you know, you might do well over here, but then this goes, you don't get the bonus. I mean, you don't get the point. Okay, remember China has cavalry now, so they're going to be blitzing around getting territories back. China's not that easy. That's why Japan now gets a 10 IPC bonus to have that. Excuse me. Africa Horn. If you've seen the Italian video, you'll remember the Africa Horn is part of their bonus. Why? Because that's what they wanted. So Sudan, Ethiopia, British Somaliland, Italian Somaliland, and Kenya is a point, not only to win, a winning point, but it's also 1 IPC value per for Italy. Okay, it gives these non-IPC territories value to the person who won it, because they actually had no value. So I understand that they're 0, but they did have value to Italy. Therefore, Italy is the one that only Italy can claim money for these, because that's what they wanted. Let's go down to the next one. The New Rome. New Rome is all North Africa, including Greece and Crete. Okay, again, if we're creating island hopping, we're creating some island warfare. Okay, you got to get these. This is the New Rome. Okay, and now if you have obviously if you have the New Rome, you have Egypt. That's 2 points. You clear this out, that's 3 points. Like I said, it's harder than it seems. And the last one here, Pacific Islands. Again, trying to create island warfare that is any 4 originally controlled United States or United Kingdom islands. Yes, that includes Borneo. Yes, that includes the Philippines. Yes, that includes Hawaii. Okay, Guam's a good one to snatch. What is this? What are we doing here? We are creating island warfare. Okay, so that's it. I mean, the tournament, we are going to do 8 and 12 for the first 2 days. The medal round, we are going to bump it to 10 and 14. We are going to do that. Why? So you are not playing the same game. Okay, you might have done well with Axis. You want to pick Axis again. Well, you know what? 2 more rounds, right? Might be it's going to be a little bit different game. Okay, either you're going to dominate or you're going to not dominate. Okay, it's 10 rounds is big difference than 8 rounds as far as keeping these and getting different ones. So like I said, so what this does is create more of a strategy game. We think there's not just one strategy. It's like, oh, well, you technically don't even have to take London and don't even have to take Russia, and you can just kind of concentrate on some other stuff. Now, granted, that's not a very smart idea because they're going to be knocking on your door. But the point is, for you to win is not written for you. I'm not saying here, like it is out of the box, you have to get this city, this city, this city, this city, this city, this city, and not this one. Okay, and you win. Okay, well that's not very strategic. It's just kind of the same game over and over again. This not only changes what Axis does, it's creating island warfare, it's creating resource warfare, it's recreating a lot of elements that are missing out of the box, and it really makes the games fun, and it really changes them every single time. Now, so for the tournament, what we did here is made a tournament card. Let's go over this really quick. Each team, we're going to get one of these cards. You're going to play on day 1. You will turn the card into me, and I will figure out who you're playing on game 2. Excuse me. And on game 3, we don't need this card because points won't matter. It'll be who won and who didn't. Okay, it's impossible to tie. Okay, it's impossible. Either Axis won or they didn't. So, game 1, you're going to check off. Did you play Axis? Did you play Allies? Was it an Axis victory or an Ally victory? And was a bonus round played? So what's a bonus round? Well, excuse me, man, I got something in my throat. Like I mentioned, we're going to play 8 and 12. Okay? Now, if you are the winning team at that point, you have the choice, provided, you didn't get done at the crack of when we're supposed to be done playing. If you played well enough, we'll get into timers later. So this should be 0 problems for anybody. But if you decide as the Axis victor, if you want to, hey, I want to play another round because I can get more points. You as the winning team or allies, if you were the allies team in year 1, you have the choice to force that game into a bonus round to try and claim more points. But you cannot go to round 10. Round 10 is only for the medal round. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, this is the tournament is point based, period. Okay, it's not wins, it's not losses, and it's obviously not ties because it's impossible to tie, but it's points. And we'll get into now. Let's go back to the thing here. Okay, so then you'll do the same thing on day 2. But if your team had an allied victory, add 1 victory point for every territory that allies control that was originally Axis or pro-Axis. This includes Italian territories which are not Axis controlled if Italy joined the Allies. And what that does over here, for example, we're creating island warfare. You as the allies, you know, who takes this? Who takes this? You know, every now and then I see Iwo Jima go, but for the most part, you just float right past it. Well, you know what? If you're going to take Caroline, you're going to land on Marshall. You're going to land on Marianas. You're going to take these islands. Why? Because it's a point for you, and a point for you is a point less for them. Even if they win the game, okay, they have to deduct these points, and let's get into that. Now, if your team had an Axis victory, you'll add 1 victory point for every box checked on the Axis victory scorecard. Axis victory scorecard, you'll see how many you got. You're going to put your game points here. If you lost a game on game 1 victory points, obviously you're going to have 0 points here. And points lost. Points lost. Tally the other team's victory points or would-be victory points had they won. Meaning, even if you won the game, you still got to tally their points. So I'm saying, so even if allies lost and they had all these islands, well, you're going to get a -1, a -1, a -1. If they were, you know, if they had Warsaw, you know, -1. If they had these over here, -1, -1. Okay, so you as the Axis, you as the winning team are at the same time, you don't want to lose your territories because that's going to count against you. If you do not win the first round, for example, you are going to automatically be in the negative points. Excuse me. And the same thing on day 2, you're going to put the game 2 victory points, points lost, and equals. Okay, so we'll say Axis had they won the game with 12 points. And you go around and you count up your territories lost. Territories lost might be 6. Therefore, you end with, see, game 1 victory points minus points lost equals, you'll be down maybe to 6 points. And then the next game, well, let's say, you know, 4 point, whatever. Then game 1 and game 2 plus 10 points total. Just as, like I said, this is going on a point. And why we got the bonus rounds? Because if we have a tie, okay, as far as points are concerned, I can look back on these cards and see if you had bonus round. If two people had 20 points, one of those played a bonus round, well then obviously they didn't do as well as the other 20 points because they had to take an extra round to do it. Okay, now this is just to get to this is just scoring to get to the medal round. This has nothing to do with the last medal round itself. Medal round is a win and loss game. There is no need for points. This is just to see who's playing who the next day, and who makes it to the medal round is off of points. And and to make sure there isn't, this is going to be set up where, for example, day 1 winners are going to play day 2 winners. Okay, for example, Team A won, Team B won. Well, Team A and Team B are going to fight each other on day 2. Okay, there's no way that too many people are going to have too many wins because it's going to be set up to where even if you won the first day, you're going to be forced into a game on day 2 that's going to put you into a win-loss scenario. So only one of you is coming out of that game with 2 wins. Okay, this is set up so there's not going to be too many people with the right amount of points. This is set up so there's going to be a couple teams that are going to win, and then they're going to win again, and then those obviously are the ones that are going to be going to the first place medal round, and then everyone else is going to have a win and a loss. Some people are going to have 2 losses. Okay, it's going to be quite easy to figure out the points and to who's going to who's moving on to the final game. Okay, well, I think that was a pretty long video to talk over victory conditions, but like I said, why we changed them. There was a lot of reasons why. I went over that, and we have a pretty good system here. And like I said, it seems, even me looking at this card right now, like, dude, it's super easy. But when you get into these scenarios, it's like, no, it's not super easy at all. Okay. Russia, remember, Russia has Lend-Lease, Russia has this, Russia has that, UK's full income. It's not that easy, okay? But like I said, you need to, hopefully you're taking some time to play some of these rules. I know you haven't had a chance to see this yet, but you've had a chance to test out the railway, test out the bombing, test out the research and development, which is another big factor on some of these scenarios. Testing out the China rules, especially. China rules are crazy. Not crazy as in crazy rules, but it makes China pretty crazy difficult. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of different things that game's pretty balanced out, we believe. Okay, so hopefully if you have any questions, feel free to post them, and I'll get back to them as soon as possible. All right, guys, take care, and we'll talk soon.